honestly couldn't say if my report would be passed on, but I'm here to tell you that I reported a gas leak, right? Coming for the gas con module, and it was checked out, and if they come back and tell us that it is now a safe area to work in, then we go ahead and work in that.
I spoke to one of the riggers, and he told me he heard a wail, like a banshee, just before the explosion, and that usually means that gas is escaping at high pressure.
We had our first explosion. It wiped out the control room, which was a nerve centre of our platform. That, for a start, we was had it. They couldn't have shut down nothing. It was all wiped out. They were all killed in there by one man.
And it was a big giant fireball, and it came for the guts of the rig, and it just erupted. It was like something like one of these blooming, catastrophe movies. It just went boom.
But all the time after that, it was explosion, explosion, and explosion after explosion.
And the North Sea was on fire, it was in flames, right? There was a third almighty explosion, and the whole thing was engulfed then.
I was one of the lucky ones. I was on shift. I was doing a night shift, so I had nowhere really to get out of.
We were trapped with the flames and the smoke. After trying another 2 alternative routes, we couldn't get through them, so we eventually found our way back into the accommodation.
I truly, I'll be honest, I accepted death when I was lying under that table. We're choking, I was vomiting, my nose was just right on the steel. I just couldn't get nothing, couldn't breathe at all. That was your worst experience.
The flames had totally engulfed the area where we were in. The smoke was getting thicker, and the emergency generators, which was emitting the little light that there was, had went out, which left us only manual torches to see where we were going. And that's when the panic set in, you know.
The reason there was 166 lads perished in that rig is because they believed in a manual, right? It tells you in a boardroom, in a paper rig, where somebody says it's, in theory, this is how that we are going to evacuate that rig. We are also told that the lifeboats and things would be surplus to requirements.
There's no procedure to follow. All happens too quick. Explosion, explosion, explosion. There's no way. You've just got to get off. And the only way you could get off is down to the sea level. I says, look, you could please yourself, but I'm telling you, this is the only way to go. And I got a lot of guys off there. And a lot of guys cannot.
You led the way. You were the first.
Oh, aye. You better believe it.
And believe it not, the jib of a crane, toppled, and that made a bridge, that we could get along to the edge and jump into the water from there.
How far did you have to jump?
About 100 feet. No, the decision was made for me. It was roasting. It was fry or jump, so it was jump.
I must have lost consciousness about halfway down. I remember passing the lifeboat that was tied on the side of the rig. I'm going past that and I couldn't remember a thing after that till I come round in the water. And then I just started swimming away from the rig. To be honest with you, as fast as I could. I was just so sheer terror. And it just kept on swimming.
That was the worst part about it, right? Because the oil slick and the flames was coming towards me and I was stuck in an oil slick.
Could you picture a sun coming out the atmosphere and coming down to the sea? If you took it down, the water wasn't calm. You had so much heat coming from that platform.
The safety standards in a lot of aspects of it, a terrible lot to be desired, right? There was one safety inspector came out to that rig maybe last week or the week before last, right? One man inspecting that rig. It's a superficial job they do. They check if the tag number and the code is correct for lifting. They cannot, it's impossible for them to check what's in pipes and if there's residue, if there is oil and gas leaks. They are not equipped for that.
When you recovered, will you go back to work offshore?
No, I don't think so.
Only a long time to think about that one. I've lost too many mates, a lot. All my roommates, I've lost all them.
No, I would never subject myself to the horrors and the nightmares of the 6th of July. I am still, I've not had a night's sleep in 18 weeks.
Every one of the guys I picked up snake and back. But I'll phrase it this way. I haven't got a lot of venues I can move to. I've been to sea all my life now, the rest of it. And I've earned a good living. I can't change. I don't know.
Do you think this disaster will improve things?
No.